So the first thing that you absolutely need to begin your tea, of course, is your own teacup. And I always say that it's so funny in the West, when they advertise tea, they always have the lid off and the steam coming out of the tea. And that's what most people drink tea like that. They'll put in their tea bag and they'll use their tea with an open thing. But here's the thing is that steam actually has your essential oils, and that's where your flavor is, and that's where a lot of your medicinal value is in the steam that you're letting evaporate off. So you always want to have a lid and put the lid on top after you pour the hot water. So as you pour the water, you want to immediately cover that and keep the steam inside the lid. Does that make sense? And then afterwards, they say that after you've let it cool off, then in the surface here is the condensation, is all the essential oil. So this is actually like the little elixir part that you drink first, is it's right here. And so really good teacups will kind of like hold, and especially clays. Like this is a really nice one that I love, is like got the black clay. So it makes it taste really good. I have a Gongfu tea table that I do this for people, the ceremonies. And then you're going to have some of these tea utensils. In some cases, you would have a tea pet. And of course, it's Golden Dragon for me, but they sell like little horses or frogs and different things like that that people might have. And there's certain ways that you can do it. Sometimes when you pour water over it, they'll change colors and they're fun. You're going to have your own little cup. And again, your cups for your people. You're going to have a viewing tray. Sometimes within those cups, you would have sniffing cups, but I'm going to show you how to do this with your hand. And then you're going to have normally 3 utensils. You're going to have a brewing pot where you're going to brew the tea. You're going to have a filter, and you're going to have a serving pot. So in this case, I will just kind of walk you guys through. I'm going to drink some of this tea. So I'm going to take my green tea. I'm going to put it in there. And brewing time is also important, because if you over brew it, then it also, even at a low temperature, if you over brew it, it will bring out those tannins and you won't really get a chance to truly taste the flavor. So normally, again, every tea has its own specific little key of how high the temperature is, how long it should be steeped. But generally speaking, with the green tea, the first one is under a minute. And then the next time I can do like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. And then as I go along, I can increase the temperature. So I can keep brewing one really good quality tea 5, 10 times, or even, 10, 20, 30 times for some people might brew one tea all day long. Okay. And that's usually, again, the better type of tea you get, the Dragon Well, you're paying a little bit more money up front, but the quality and the health benefits that you're getting is better than buying the cheaper tea. So, just like food and everything else, you get what you pay for when you do that. Okay, so then I'm just going to take my thing here. And I'm just going to, now there's a lot of little like esoteric things that, that I learned, like even the 3 pours, man, heaven, earth, going counterclockwise, the first one. And just a little bit. And I just want to let that steep. Now, some people might pour this off immediately because, let's say, to rinse the dirt off, or if you have a tea pit and you're into more the ceremonial side, it might be like kind of, I always joke because I like to be, modern. It's like pouring off, for the dead homies. And so again, you might like do like the man, heaven, earth, and you might just pour off that first batch there over your teapot. Or if you had cups, you would pour it over the cups to warm up the cups and warm up the brewing or the serving pot and warm everything up. So you would pour that actually all over a little bit of everything. Okay, because again, there's a lot of little subtle ways to do this. And then usually, when I do it for people after that, then I usually would pass this around. Let's see if I can transmit it to you. Yeah, it's just like a nature, and so it becomes really beautiful. It changes to a lime green. You can see some of the steam coming off there a little bit. And again, once you start doing these teas and you feel how they make you feel, even the better teas, you know, to me, it's like a beautiful life. It's fun. I'm gonna be doing this my whole life. Love it. Makes you feel great. Okay, and then so the next one, then the first one I also poured counterclockwise to give you some of the like understanding of the depth. So counterclockwise disperses things. It's how you would purify anything, even water. You should, you know, turn the energy counterclockwise and purify it, and then you can put in your affirmations clockwise. So a lot of this kind of medical qigong information and Taoism and parables. We'll see how much time we have. If I have time to, you know, give you guys one of my favorite parables towards the end. And so the next one would be clockwise. Man, heaven, earth, or teacher, top disciple and family, or emperor, empress in general. There's a lot of things that can be symbolic with the three treasures or the three pores. Okay, so I'll let that go for a moment. And again, there's different ones. If you want a stronger tea, like after dinner or something to digest, then you can go with like the tea kuan yin. And so they make like, you know, the oolong teas, and, you know, we sell black tea, we sell green tea with jasmine. And so these are usually you use after a meal if you eat a heavy meal, or if you need that initial kick in the morning, you can go with more of a oolong or a black tea if you're used to drinking coffee. And if you buy good quality, I'm telling you, it maybe not have as much caffeine as coffee, but you will feel better, and you will feel better long term than you will by drinking coffee. I know coffee drinkers usually always, you know, they don't like me after I do my classes.
Before JC?
Yeah.
Eliza Meeker wanted to know what the origin of the teapot is.
You know, again, that could be, it doesn't come from the Gongfu Tea Ceremony. The way that I understand it is like, it's like a symbol of your lineage. And so this is like, our lineage is golden dragon. So it's a symbol of like the information. It's like an offering. So as I offer and pour some back over my lineage, it's, you know, like I said jokingly, it's the modern day or the ancient version of, you know, pouring off the alcohol for the dead homie. If that doesn't make sense to you, then it's kind of like I'm just remembering my teacher, his teacher, and not only the teacher, but all the students that asked questions that made the teacher that he became. And so it's like all these people that have just respect to where this information comes from, that you're honoring that. Yeah, it's really cool. So here, this is a dragon egg. I'm gonna put it over my serving pot. Now the reason why to have a serving pot is because then everyone gets served the same tea. If I just started pouring this from this pot. So the next one, here we are in understanding and making decoctions. And this is what I used to do a lot, and I still love to do this, is actually to buy the raw herbs. Like, and I'm gonna make this, because I'm gonna make this for me today and tomorrow, is we're gonna take like the astragalus roots, and we're gonna put it in the pot here. We're going to take some of the jujube dates, goji berries, lotus seeds, all these wonderful like roots and berries, and login fruits. Let me just get like a handful so you can see what that looks like. It's wonderful. These are all tonic roots and barks and berries. I'm going to put that whole thing in there. And this is called the change of season in order to make these ultimate elixirs, and I'm going to make one too, because I'm going to drink on this thing the rest of the night, is we want to start with the tea bag. Oh, I already got one ready. It's like, why is that so hard? Okay, so you're going to start with your tea bag, and I already primed it with some goji berries. So I got some goji berries. I'm going to start with my tea bag. Some of you guys got your kits out there. So if you haven't already, you can make it now, or you can just see how I do it. And then I'm going to add my tea bag. And with this one, if you have the desktop botanical, it wraps really cool right around there, so it doesn't catch on fire or anything like that. Okay, so you can wrap it a few times there, and it'll just be balancing like that for you. Okay, so let me start to move some stuff a little bit so we can get right up in here. I'll go over some of these different tonics. And I'll bring this forward a little bit and so you can see how beautiful this is going to look when we're done. Okay, so we want to start with our tea bag and some gojis, and then I'm going to add some different fruits here. I'm going to add some, I like the bitterness and the sourness of Schizandra, and I'm going to add some raspberries, some dehydrated raspberries in there. You can see it's already looking good. And I'm going to add a few of the login fruits. Now, of course, I understand you guys all don't, have your own store, and so you don't have to make them this elaborate. But if you look at it like you're making a meal, then you're getting a lot of value of making this like a meal, okay? And let's see, what else we're going to add? Well, we'll just go with that. So we'll go with, a couple of these extracts here to start. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit and bring this right there so you can just see it. And then we want to go through, we want to add some of these liquid extracts. Now, I won't go through all of them, but I'll show you a few. The chi drops is really cool because this is going to, move the energy and improve the flexibility in the muscles. So I might just add a squirt of that in there. Let's see, the yin replenisher. Now this one's a classical one, very good for women. It's usually one of the main ones I recommend for it because it's kidneys and it's got a lot of organic compounds in there. But one of the most famous ones here is this Goji Schizandra. Some of you guys got that out there. Now they say if you take Gojis and Schizandra, every empress ever in China took this every day. So I would say if you want to be the empress, you take this every day, they say for 100 days, and your skin will glow, your eyes will radiate, and your spirit will shine. So it's got, the Goji and Schizandra. So the Goji is semi-sweet, and the Schizandra has got the sour and bitter flavors in there. And so you're going to add some of that in here. And then just depending on which ones you like, let's see, a couple of my favorites would be the wild reishi. This one's really good. And again, remember the reishis are only been available for us for, not too long. And so 50 years ago, you couldn't even get these. And let's see what else one that I really like. And because I have it, add some of these ginseng drops. They're really good ginseng drops, just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to add some of our tonics, and then, they make some of these other different types of tea, these E-teas. These are cool because these are like powdered tonics, so they have all the properties of the extracts, but they're made into, you can add it right to cold water if you want to use like the E-teas for some of these different formulas. And then again, one of my favorite, of course, is the red roses. And so I'm just going to add some of those, a handful of those in there. And I got my water. And so with these, what I would suggest starting now, 135 seems to be like the perfect temperature where it's warm, but it's not too warm to burn your tongue. It might be a little different for you. Between 125 and 135, I found if you have a pot that measures the temperature to be like perfect, for sipping. But I'm going to bring this up a little bit. But you might initially need to hit it with about 160 just to let that hot water like kind of coalesce and mix all the ingredients together. The cool thing though is every time you make a little bit different formula, the ingredients mesh together and create new compounds that are not there individually. So the more variety that you're always using all the time is the more variety that you make even newer compounds that never even been made in nature before. You're the first person on the earth to make this combo and get these certain compounds into your body. So once you make the tonic elixirs, then you're creating, something that's greater than the individual plants alone can do. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to pour it. And then I'm just going to pour that over that. And I'm going to come around. And you have your little tea light. I'm going to put that in there. And this whole little kit is called the Desktop Botanical. And so I just wish that I could just show you that without pouring it on the computer, how beautiful, you know, these look in person. And, you know, now some of the flowers are bitter, so lavender is nice, but sometimes I'll just put a little bit of flower, you know, just a little bit on there. Not too much because it can become bitter after extracts, and a little bit of jasmine flowers. So you have all your different flowers and different ingredients there. And again, you can kind of see that. You can kind of see what it looks like, but that's not doing any justice there of how beautiful and cool this looks. And then if you do need it to be sweet, you know, if that's going to be important, then the cool thing about the sweet fruit drops, normally I have a segment I do just on this because the sweet fruit drops are a tonic within themselves. This is called monk fruit if you're not familiar with it. And so these are actually a tonic for your lungs. They're very good by itself. So you can actually just make this, or if you have kids, you can squeeze lemons and you can add like one little dropper full of this, makes the perfect lemonade. And it's a tonic for you. So, you know, I've been through all the sugars. I've been through agave and honey and, you know, all the different types of sugars, stevia, but there's nothing better than sweet fruit drops. Not for only blood sugar, but again, it's a tonic by itself. So I'll just, you know, because I want it to be nice and sweet looking and sweet tasting for you guys, so I add some of those in there. And then some of the other really cool ones that we sell, this one needs to be refrigerated, but like this is rose and hibiscus, and so this is actually really bright red. And you can add this to like different things that you eat, but it's also beautiful to add into these teas, and it'll give it like a really nice red color. I'm just going to pour some in there. And so again, these rose and hibiscus ones in there. So this one has the different ones. Not going to be, oh, and lion's mane. This is another one of my favorite ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and, since this is just for me, I'm going to add a couple squirts of that in there. Okay. And then I just like to stir it just a little bit. And then I have my tea light. And it's good right now to go. But the longer this cooks, the better this will actually become. And so we even sell these beautiful little cups, and so then that, you know, eventually you have, yay, are we feeling good? One last tea sip together, so this is the final one. Yay.